Ho chiesto a Peter Agre di poterlo intervistare perché fin dalla sua prima presentazione qui al meeting di Lindau l'ho sentito vicino alla mia esperienza. Ho sentito che le domande che man mano mi ponevo durante le giornate del meeting potevano essere rivolte a lui e con lui affrontate. To a younger physician, what you will do, how can you say, advise to keep on being a physician and after thinking about science, or?
Well, there's no one advice for everyone. I think in part, we're not so much born to do something, but we become convinced from meeting others, role models, heroes. Someone who's so interesting, so fascinating. You want to work with that person. You'd like to become the understudy.
Yes.
And I think often this is where we get our cues as to what we want to be in life. As a small kid, my father was a chemist. He was wonderful. He read to us, he taught us. He was my hero. As an adolescent,
You were thinking.
Why would I want to do science? I was more interested in athletics, girls. I mean, normal stuff. Normal stuff.
Science.
And my return to science really became an issue because I wanted to become a medical doctor. I thought that was a good career and a very flexible career, a great opportunity. You could travel, you could do research, you could work in the third world, and that was my goal, is to become a developing world doctor, like a medical missionary, but I'm not very religious.
Yeah, no, but it's not about religion, I think.
No,
it's
it's
just
not.
about something emotional that you feel that.
I think it's not worship type religion, it's more doing what Christ has asked us to do. Care for the sick, care for the poor.
But I'm wondering if I want really to keep on a research, do I maybe to stop to be a physician right now and to maybe study more, because I know I don't have the knowledge at that point to be a good scientist as I would like to.
And you raise a very important point, because the older we become, the harder it is to go back and learn new things. And the clock is ticking. And as a woman, there's a reproductive clock which is ticking. All of these things at the same time. It's like,
Yes.
Do you play it safe? Do something that's okay? Take time out and really try something you might love. And first off, you might find out, I'm not so good at it, I don't love it. That's all right.
Yeah.
Put it aside.
Recognize your...
Our lives, we look back, and we're still blaming our parents. We're not very realistic. They've been dead for decades. My father made me become a scientist. No, we let them do this.
No, yes. Peter Agre è un ricercatore, ma prima di tutto un medico. Ha vinto il Nobel per la scoperta delle acquaporine, che sono le proteine che facilitano il passaggio dell'acqua tra le cellule. E poi ha portato questa sua ricerca di base in campo pratico e in particolare nello studio della malaria. Le acquaporine gli sono servite per capire il meccanismo con cui il plasmodio della malaria entra nelle cellule e le infetta. Do you go frequently to South Africa, or I don't know in which countries?
I spend a third of a year in Zimbabwe and Zambia. I fly through South Africa usually. And we have colleagues working on TB in South Africa, so yeah. The origin of drug resistance didn't come from developed countries. It came from US and Europe. We caused this, not the developing countries.
No, I know,
And this is something that our people don't seem to understand in the U.S. Oh, well.
They think that...
or they don't think it's important. Well, right now we're finding instances where healthy individuals go in for elective surgery, gallbladder, die of sepsis, drug-resistant organisms. They go fast. We have flesh-eating streptococci. And even well-known people, famous people, Jim Henson, the Muppets, 20 years ago. He thought he had the flu, a bad cold. He goes to the hospital, he dies of a strep sepsis. So we're living in a dangerous time. So I think the infectious disease research will become even more important. And the drug resistance is a very big factor. And the origin of drug-resistant tuberculosis, to my understanding, it came from cutting back on the public health nurses. Traditionally, TB patients are more often in the poor neighborhoods. And the TB patients would get the medicines, and the nurses would make business to observe them taking the medicine. You don't just take them, you observe them. Save money, dismiss the nurses. patients take it for a while,
And they
forget.
forgot.
It's oftentimes these are people who are alcoholic and maybe not so well educated or emotionally disturbed. It's the ideal mechanism to cause resistance. Give a little bit of drug.
Right. And
So
forget.
no, I think Aaron, as you mentioned this is a very important. And one of the students asked me at the time about this. They're aware. I think it's a potential disaster waiting to happen.
Yes. Very like misusage of antibiotics, and
Sure. Well, and it's from agriculture. Oftentimes, the use of high levels of high levels meaning hundreds of thousands of kilotons of antibiotics in animal food. So we can get our Big Macs cheaper and become obese.
And yes.
So I think this is an example where the misuse of scientific information for commercial gain has been causing unnecessary difficulty.
E poi, diciamo la verità, Agri, quando si è trattato di ballare o di bere tutti insieme alla sera, come capita di fare spesso qui a Lindau, è stato uno dei Nobel più alla mano. Abbiamo danzato e chiacchierato con lui con grande naturalezza, come se ci conoscessimo, parlando della ricerca e degli stereotipi sul nostro paese. I should maybe go to one of these developing countries. So,
it might be a good opportunity. Certainly, it'll be an inspiring opportunity. To do something really useful, you need to put in years and years. So, particularly if you're interested in some problem in pneumonia vaccine testing, and of course in Italy, Siena, they're very
yes, the
Rino
Novartis Rappuoli. Yes, exactly.
Internationally famous.
Yes.
The myth that there are no, and I think he's a physician scientist.
I think it is, yes.
So the myth that there are no great Italian physician scientists, well, here's one.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You could win a Nobel Prize. But who knows? I don't want to jinx him.
Per questo adesso mi interessa scoprire molte cose di lui. Cosa pensa della musica? We don't have that much detail.
Music is something that brings joy to people, and we can't really explain it. Young people, they really identify with their music. Bono, he's regarded as superhuman because of his music. In fact, it turns out that his foundation is spending most of the money they raise to pay the administrators. But the idea is
HIV
good.
Yes,
yeah. The idea is good.
Quali sono I suoi hobby?
Outdoor activities, wilderness camping, canoeing in the Arctic, kayaking on the Zambezi, things like this. And to do this, I have to train all the time, so I'm doing athletics just to stay fit. As soon as this interview is done, I'm going over to the hotel, put on my Speedo, and go swim a kilometer in the lake.
Wow.
It's okay.
Quali sono secondo lui le differenze tra uomini e donne nella ricerca?
I think there may be a gender difference. This is dangerous because you say something to us, you're sexist. But in my experience, I found men are more impatient and they want big success, big financial rewards. Women are more interested in long-term environmental comfort. Is this a good working environment? Can I pursue the problems getting the support?
E poi, per sapere cosa vuol dire essere un premio Nobel.
One question often comes up with this great awe and respect for the Nobel laureates. Young people come to me often, I'm so honored. I'm so honored. You don't know how honored I am. And my answer is, you'll get over it.
No, why?
And then I do a little quiz. I say, you think Nobel Prize? It's like being immortal? Remind me, who won the Nobel Prize in 2001? They don't remember. 2002, they don't remember. 2003, they don't remember. It was me! Look how long they remember you.
But it's true because probably Nobel laureate is something that is so far you read on newspaper, you read on your book when you study medicine, for example.
It's a little bit viewed, it's not correct, it's a little bit viewed like the musical Cats, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Cats. When Griselda, the glamour cat, is granted 9 lives. It's like, Nobel Prize.